I have two huge categories of news to break down today that I cannot wait to get to. Both pieces are absolutely incredible. If you're new here, I'm Nate. Love talking the 49ers. Please consider a like and sub. The first category is great injury updates coming in today from Kyle Shanahan. They'll have massive impacts on this football team, starting with this man right here. Not that man, this man right here. You know his name, 57, the Dre Greenlaw. He is... It's good. It's positive news. I'm going to get to what the positive news is here. Coming out of the mouth of Kyle Shanahan, who's getting closer and could be trending toward week to week after the bye week. Here's what he said. We talk about a lot of stuff, and he's working through it, but I hate to give a rough timeline for you guys because we're not exactly sure of it. I think once we get back from this bye week, I think he's going to be about week to week deciding whether we should get him back into the practice deal or not. But we'll see how this next week goes. We'll see when we get back from the bye week. I think once it gets past the bye week, then we'll be looking each week on whether we should bring him back or not because it's getting closer. That's the first piece of really awesome news, and it couldn't come at a better time. I'll give credit to Devondre Campbell. The last game, he did a fantastic job. It was an improvement for sure from some of the earlier weeks. And this is the Devondre Campbell this weekend that I was kind of expecting to show up, who was learning so much in the offseason from Kyle Shanahan and really benefiting in OTAs. I kind of had a feeling that Devondre Campbell was going to get back to his best, and we haven't seen his best yet. So we'll see what happens, but Dre Greenlaw is a different cat. He's a completely different character, and the 49ers need him on the field. Don't get me wrong. Fred Warner's done a fantastic job holding down the fort. He's having a DPOY kind of season. At least it's trending that way. My goodness, it could be one of those kinds of seasons if he continues to play like he's playing, all the forced fumbles and all that. 49ers are like number one in the league in forced fumbles, although we haven't recovered all of them because of guys like Fred Warner. But we have to give some credit where credit is due. Dre Greenlaw is a very important player on this team that we have really, really missed, especially in the beginning half of the season. And so, yeah, I'm excited, not just for the player. I'm excited for the attitude. I'm excited for the mentality. I'm excited for the guy who's, he brings the kind of intensity that you need on your defensive side of the ball, especially when you have games like we've seen several times this season where it seems like everybody's just breaking out the victory cigars or whatever you want to call it when there's still a quarter left of football. And as soon as we get up, it's like we're going into coast mode. It's like, guys, the game's not over here. Play to the final whistle, right? I mean, haven't we been saying that since Pee Wee football? But all of that being said, Dre Greenlaw is a huge addition to this team. Let me know in the comments what you think about how awesome this is that Dre Greenlaw is trending positively and going towards week to week, which definitely feels really, really good to me. It feels like a huge improvement after how long it's been since the guy has actually stepped foot with pads on the actual NFL football field. So I'm super hyped about that, but I've got more news coming for you. I've got more injury updates that are exciting that I can't wait to get to. I also have some other stuff later on in the video, so stick around for that as well. But let's get to the next one that I think you're going to find really exciting. It's not that, it's this. This man right here got a better update as well. Oh, I love that move every time. Every single time I watch the highlight, I absolutely love it. So this man, Christian McCaffrey, I told you guys yesterday that Christian McCaffrey, we got to keep it on until the touchdown, right? Don't we have to? I told you guys last week that this man, Christian McCaffrey, was in a very, very good spot, according to Adam Schefter. I was like, big name in sports, right? And Kyle Shanahan basically backed that up, saying something like this. Sorry, I'll put it back on the screen. Christian McCaffrey will return next week. It depends how this week goes. He's had no setbacks, so it looks like we're on track. He's going to hit it hard this week while we're gone and kind of simulate some practice stuff for himself. And as long as it all goes good, hopefully we'll get him back into practice next week. The expectation is just to see how he is when he gets back and then evaluate him as he goes. Of course, the hope is that everything just goes back to normal and is perfect. That's what we're all striving for. But you've got to play out smartly, and you've got to evaluate that each day. What we see with our own eyes, what he tells us, that'll be something we are constantly working through. So this is positive news. It kind of solidifies in my mind, when we first heard the quote that I played for you guys yesterday. When we first heard Adam Schefter basically say similar language to what we've heard before, which was no setbacks. We've heard that for a couple weeks now. So there was a sneaking part of me that was like, If this wasn't Adam Schefter, I would have just said, well, it's probably just that old news that's being re-reported. But because it was Schefter, it felt like, no, he's not going to report old news, not Adam Schefter. And this just confirms that Kyle Shanahan's saying we're still on the right track. We still have no setbacks. That is continued progress. I'm excited about that. We definitely could use that guy. I almost said young man. That man we could most certainly use on the football field. That would be an absolute big one, okay? Now, I want to get to one other little injury update that I think is important here, and I'm just queuing it up because, of course, I got to play at least one little highlight for this man right here. Ready to go after the bye week is Jauan Jennings. Yes, sir. Jauan Jennings is ready to go after the bye week, according to Kyle Shanahan. Here's what he said. Yes, I do, when asked if we expect Jauan Jennings to return after the bye. Expecting him to return. So that's fantastic news, just because there was a little bit of a concern. They had Dr. Pandya on the game last week, and he was asked about Jauan Jennings. He kind of said, there's a little bit of a concern if he doesn't play this weekend, which he did not, because that tells me it's not just a little muscle thing. It's probably something bigger. And if it's something bigger and we aren't specifying what it is, hip flex or this or whatever, then it's concerning that it's kind of a bigger deal than and they're kind of they're playing it down a little bit, not wanting everyone to know how big of a deal it is. The fact that Kyle Shanahan thinks he's going to be ready to go when we get back from the bye week and ready for Tampa Bay is a very, very good sign. Again, just huge pieces of news. I should have done this in like 3 different videos because there's just so much news we could have gotten to today. But I just wanted to share all the biggest things to you guys. That's all the first category. There's some other stuff out there in terms of the injury updates, but that's the big stuff, the stuff that it's exciting. And when you think about this football team and where things are going, it's really positive from here. But that's not all that I have for you in this video, because the second category is more good news for rookies. Renardo Green was not only outstanding this weekend, and we talked about that yesterday as well. And not only was he picked by PFF and made the week 8 players of the week, PFF also picked the young man for highest graded rookie of the week. So that's fantastic. He made the top of the chart amongst rookies. That's awesome and pretty exciting there. The story just kind of continues on top of that, you guys. Dominic Puni, while we're talking about the rookies, his stats through 8 games, 289 pass blocking opportunities, according to Coach Yak here. Thanks for posting this, by the way. 0 sacks allowed, 0 quarterback hits, 14 pressures, not too bad there. 97.6 pass blocking efficiency. That's crazy, guys. That's crazy. 70 pass block grade and a 73.3 run block grade. The fact that Puni hasn't allowed his opponent to sack or even hit Brock Purdy at this point in the season for a rookie is incredible. And if you told me before the start of the season, this man right here, hold up, I'll go back to that one in a second. Dominic Puni, 3rd rounder, 86th pick of the draft, when everybody was all upset, everybody's like, come on, guys, how come we didn't pick up a offensive tackle in the first draft? What are we doing? Everybody's all upset about it, and yet look what happened here. The San Francisco 49ers pick up a 3rd rounder that other people have slept on twice, and here you have a guy that's going out there and he's playing like this, and he's your starting right guard. How exciting is that? Because going into the season, everybody believed this guy would be fighting for a spot. I believe several videos we talked about Dominic Puni and just said things like, how many games is he going to start this season? This offensive line needs some help. He's probably going to get in there because of injuries a couple times, maybe get a few starts, maybe get developed or whatever. And then preseason came around, and all of a sudden, with injuries, injuries were a part of that. He got his opportunity, and once he got it, he never lost it. And that's what you ask of these guys, right? You say, listen, you're going to get your shot. I don't know when it's going to come, but you're going to get your shot, and you keep putting in the effort. You're going to get your shot, and you just take it when you get it. And Dominic Puni absolutely did that. On that, 49ers rookies playtime percentage versus the Dallas Cowboys yesterday. Ricky Pearsall playing in 59% of the snaps. Renardo Green in 73% appropriate snaps, obviously. Isaac Guerendo in 63% of snaps. Dominic Puni and Malik Mustafa both out there 100% of the game. Jacob Cowing 18% of the game. So definitely saw something in Ricky Pearsall during training this week that they not only did they put him out there and over Jacob Cowing, who did have probably, the best rookie catch last week against the Kansas City Chiefs of all the rookies on the field, absolutely. But all that being said, top to bottom, this might be the best 49ers draft class of the Shanahan-Lynch era, and there's, it's tough to argue against, draft classes that include guys like Brock Purdy who become, whatever, but you didn't know he was going to be that guy. This feels like a very intentional draft. I give massive credit to the 49ers organization for pulling this one off, because you look at these guys on this list, Ricky Pearsall showing to be pretty important this week. Renardo Green, Dominic Puni, Malik Mustafa, each of those three guys have been really important this season, far more important than we probably anticipated they would need to be. And then Isaac Guerendo starting to really find his feet. Jacob Cowing has had some good moments when he's had the opportunity, and I'll give Jacob Cowing credit. I'm always nervous during a punt. I am like the kind of guy that if I were a head coach, I would just say, just catch the ball. Because that's the one thing, like, don't take risks there. Just catch the ball. I don't care. Called a fair catch when it comes off the guy's foot. Fair catch. That's literally what I would do, because it gives me so much anxiety. But Jacob Cowing a couple times there, like one of them was a super late fair catch call and he caught it. The second one that I'm thinking of that really terrified me is the defender was so close. The kicking team player was so close that I literally thought, I'm sure you know what play I'm talking about, I literally thought he already called a fair catch and just didn't see it on the camera, on the TV. And I was like, oh, he must have called a fair catch. Then he steps into it a little bit and then starts moving. And I had no idea that he had not called a fair catch. That was pretty wild there too. So massive credit to the 49ers organization for this incredible draft class. That was a lot of information in a very short period of time, and you guys stuck around for it. Thank you for sticking around for it. You're a legend. My goodness, this is going to be so fun. You guys, this second half of the season is getting crazy. We got Christian McCaffrey, knock on wood, coming back. We have Dre Greenlaw, knock on wood, coming back. There's a lot to look forward to. Guys are going to be rested, and I told you at the beginning of the season, when the schedule came out, actually, way before the season, I told you guys, this is a good scenario for the 49ers to have another Week 9 bye. Now, there are times, and this season is definitely one of them, that if given the opportunity to have a bye at like Week 6 or Week 5, we would have taken it, because, boy, did we need it. But all of that being said, in the grand scheme of things, this is a good situation for the 49ers to have this Week 9 bye, to come in at Week 10 and have these 8 games ahead of us that are 8 games, right? Or 7 games ahead of us. No, wait, what am I doing? 9 games ahead of us. Jeez Louise, math. That you can then now start looking at and looking down at the playoffs as well and just see, hey, all we have to do, faithful, all we have to do is top the division, and we're not far from topping this division. That's very much within our reach. So that's all we got to do. Just top the division with a tougher schedule, for sure, than all the other teams, but all we have to do is top the division. And if you take care of business in the division with the remaining games, that by itself is going to do a ton of work for you. And then you have to go out there and you have to win a couple tough games. And then there's a couple games there that you should win that you better win. It's pretty much like that. That's pretty much how it's going to go for the 49ers. And I'm excited about it. We got rookies now who, when they're moved back because of healthy players coming in, the guys like D. Winters, for example, the actual experience that they have, that they're going to now be able to come in there and be ready for when they are called upon in moments. They're going to be able to come out there and they're going to be ready for it. I mean, that's fantastic. Ricky Pearsall, same deal, although he's probably going to be out there for the rest of the season if we're honest, either way. But when Juwan Jennings comes back out, that's going to limit some of his snaps for sure. But anyway, it's going to be really interesting to look at. I can't wait to see it. What a time to be alive.